Hola, Yvonne Emil Elizondo here again. Well, let's see, we had Halloween on the 31st. We had Dia de los Muertos on November 1st. And then today is All Souls Day, or All Saints Day, November 2nd, which prompted me to think of ways that we could help ourselves connect to our ancestors and or connect to our intuitive sense, which ultimately is connected to our ancestors through a pendulum. Isn't she beautiful? I love her. All right, so pendulum literally is a cord, a string, a chain that has something heavier weighted attached to it. Crystals are usually used nowadays, but it could be a stone, it could be a coin, it could be a rock. Okay, just don't go whirling it around because you're probably going to knock somebody out with it. But this is a pendulum, right? The whole idea of pendulum, what does it do? It moves back and forth. All right. So before I teach you how to use the pendulum, I want to explain why you should consider a pendulum and how a pendulum works. The whole premise of using a pendulum is to help connect you to your subconscious, which ultimately connects to the consciousness of everything. If we tap into Carl Jung's idea, psychology, right, that we are all connected at some level. This is now being discovered in, like it's metaphysics, but also science now is realizing that at some level, we are all connected. We are all one, basically. The use of the pendulum comes in handy because it helps us connect to our subconscious, which is connected to the collective consciousness. Make sense? All right, so let me show you how that works. The whole idea is to hold, keep your okay, Mercury retrograde ends today. And I just can't find my words. Like, this is like the 5th or 6th time that I try to record this video. So bear with me. All right, let's try this again. So if you want to put your elbow on something that's sturdy, the whole idea is not to move, right? There we go. Not moving. But of course, we are not vampires. Well, unless you're a vampire, maybe, okay? Or a fae, okay, or a statue, you are going to move, right? So skeptics out there are like, oh, you're moving your hand. I can see it moving. Yes, it's moving. Yes, this is moving, my hand. But there are some movements that are considered micro movements. In other words, they're so small. They're so small, but they're subconscious movements that we don't recognize them. And that's really how we tap into the use of a pendulum. So let's say, for example, you have a question about, should I, go out with this guy or girl, okay, or both? Should I go out dating, right? And you're not really quite sure. And so you might have a sense, a feeling, but you're really not really quite sure. You need some validation. You need some validation, not from your best friend, not from your mom, but you need some validation about your own gut instinct. And so what you would do is you would hold the pendulum as steady as possible, and you would ask your question. And the idea is, again, that you are tapping into your subconscious, which is connected to the collective consciousness, which knows everything, has all of the answers, is connected to everyone. And you would be able to pull that information in from the collective, consciousness into your subconscious, into micro movements, which would then translate into moving the pendulum. Pretty cool, huh? You guys thought it was just a crystal. All right, so this is ultimately how it works. There are other theories of how pendulums work. Some people believe that spirit or spirit guides actually, make the pendulum work, and could be, okay. But ideally, even if you believe in that, the spirits are not in the physical realm. They are in the consciousness of everything, the collective consciousness where everything resides. So you're still tapping into the collective consciousness, either way, whether you believe spirits actually move this, okay, or whether you believe that you are tapping into your own subconscious, either way. Okay, so before I show you how to use it, let me give you some ideas of the type of crystals that you may, or pendulums, excuse me, that you want may want. So for example, this one right here, I love her. All right, she's been with me forever. So that's crystal quartz. I do have a variety of crystal quartz. I tap into crystal quartz better, but there's different shapes and sizes of pendulums. See, this one's a little bit more weighty. If we try to move it on purpose, you know, it's a little bit heavier. Okay. We also have, don't tell Alex Sophia, but I'm borrowing hers for the video. Okay. Anyway, so here's a wood one. Okay, so again, anything that's hanging on a chain that has some weight to it. See how that one's a little bit more wobbly? Okay. She also has a really pretty copper one. Okay, this one's really heavy, so it might take a little bit longer to, you know, move around. Or you could even use like a chain jewelry. Here's my hematite pendant. I love this. I use this more as a pendulum than I do as a you know what I mean, necklace. Okay. All right, so how does it work? Okay, well, here we go. We're going back to the pendulum again. The whole idea is to get your elbow on something sturdy, okay, and really try to be as still as possible. Okay, it takes some practice. At first, you may be wobbling all over the place, but after a while, you get pretty, you know, pretty comfortable with it. And so the whole idea is to first ask the pendulum. You can talk to the pendulum if you'd like. Okay, ask the pendulum to show you how it's going to respond. So how are you going to know if the pendulum is saying yes, no, maybe, or I don't know? Okay, so pendulum work is really good for yes, no, maybe, I don't know. If you're asking for specifics, it could be a little bit more difficult, okay? But you want to say yes, no, maybe, okay. And so what you want to do is you first get it to show you a yes or a no or a maybe. So right now, I'm not on anything sturdy, so I'm probably going to move a little bit, okay? But right now, and I am intentionally moving it so it can show you right now. So it might say, you know, yes. Okay, this is intentionally moving it, okay? Right, I'm totally moving. It might say no, right? So circle for yes, straight back for no. Okay, this might be maybe, and if it stays very still, it might be, you know, I don't know. You figure out how the movement of the pendulum refers to its answer. For me, for you, it might be different. For you, you know, a circle may be no or yes. Okay, so you figure that out. But that's the first thing you want to do with the pendulum is figure out the answers. And then you want to be very, very still. Take a few deep breaths. You can close your eyes if you'd like, and you want to ask your question. And you need to be very specific with your question. You just can't say, should I date? Okay, yes, that's specific. But the more specific you are, should I start dating now? Is this a good time to start dating, like right now in the next few days? Okay, or is so-and-so the right, you know, person to go on my first date with? I'm really talking about dating because obviously, you know, I'm single and not dating. Not during a pandemic anyways. You know how hard that is to date during a pandemic? Well, I don't know because I haven't even tried. But anyways, back to the pendulum. So here we go. Okay, so then you just get it to move. So if you ask the question and you say, you know, do I want to date? Okay, you want to try it. It's micro movement. My hand's moving a little bit, no foundation. But those micro movements eventually are going to pull out the information from the collective consciousness to your subconscious, translated into the pendulum. Now, this is really cool, especially after you get used to it. A whole bunch of people are like, oh my God, this is so pathetic, you're moving it on your own. Okay, well, even if you were moving it on your own, okay, like even if you're like, should I date? And this is a yes. Okay, even if you were moving on your own, you already are pulling what you intuitively are sensing. So stop fighting it. There you go. Okay. All right. So again, this is how the really basic way to use the pendulum. Other ways to use a pendulum are to like help clear your chakra spaces, right? So if you hold it up against the specific parts of, you know, like for example, your third eye, just don't knock yourself out because I've done that before. Got it really close and I hit myself. So, you know, you get it here and you can twirl it. Okay. So you would twirl it right, counterclockwise to reduce energy, clockwise to enhance energy, your throat space. You know, sometimes when I open my mouth when I shouldn't, I should probably like counterclockwise, okay, and so forth. You can do that. Or here's a really cool way I like to use it. I literally just stare at it and I try to get it to move with my energy. I know, so witchy, huh? All right, with my energy, okay? And I literally focus as still as I can, and I'm like, okay, clockwise, right? And then it'll go clockwise, and then it'll go straight back and forth, and then it'll go, okay. So it's a really cool tool just to help you even concentrate, learn to focus your energy, okay? Great before meditation. Can't go wrong with the pendulum. All right, everyone. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions about the pendulum work or anything witchy, astrology, meditation, breathing, simple stuff like that, I also do that. All right, visit me on spiritual-essence.com. That's spiritual-essence. And we're just going to hold on for this week. We need to send, oh, I forgot. This is a perfect way. You can just do this, and that energy is just like sending out positive love and juju. You just focus on it, and you're just like literally sending energy out. All right. Sending you lots of blessings for this week. All right. So stay safe and blessed be.